Thank you very much, Pablo. I think that it must be a very interesting activity for the student. Yes. We have 15 minutes, so I'm going to ask to all the partners to say some words, 2 minutes for each. And if you have any question, of course, it is the moment to say what you want. Okay, we can begin. Flavio?
Yes, just a few notes about I've seen that you've used FCM quite, I mean, according to our methodology, but with some differences. For example, Pilar, if I'm not wrong, you chose the factors for the students. So they didn't choose the factors. You chose the factors.
For undergraduate, yes. For master, no. For master student, we don't choose the factors.
But that's in any case a way to do it. So that
yes.
The fuzziness relays only on the links. So, and that could be a way to also to compare the maps, because if you have the same factors, you can compare the maps and even merge them all together. Mm-hmm. Yannis also asked the students to incorporate the maps into their essays. So in this case, as far as I understand, the maps were like a self-guidance for the students. So that's another way yet to use the maps. The PhDs that Francesco mentioned, and even he's going to use them as a way of, as a tool for participation for stakeholders, etc. So in any case, it's a very flexible tool, and it's nice that we've been using it, experimenting it in different ways.
Thank you, Flavio. Pablo, do you want to say something about your experience?
No, just to say that for the students, after a practical experience, as it was the transhumance, to have this final work with the help of socio-cognitive maps has been extremely interesting for them. So it was a very good way to put in the map the conclusions of all the activities that we carry out. So I think this is a very interesting tool. For the students was impressive, and we will use in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yanis from online session, I don't know if you listen to us. Do you want to say some words?
It was very difficult for me to understand what Flavio said and what we're supposed to. Can you, Pablo, help me by saying what you are asking exactly?
Yanis, we only want final words, your opinion about the projects, 1 minute, more or less,
okay.
To say your opinion, your experience, what you want.
Okay, I mean, the experience was great. I mean, it's something that he also presented before. It was great for both me as a tutor, because I had to invent ways of, passing information to the students, teach them how to work with the project, but also how to work with their essays. And to be honest, if I can transfer a couple of opinions from my students, because these are students doing their MA in two different consecutive years. So in one of their years, they used fuzzy cognitive mapping for their subject. In the other, they did not. Their idea is that everything went much better in the classroom, especially concerning the discussion with their other colleagues when they were using the fuzzy cognitive mapping and the mental modeler. And this is also our experience. It is a great tool which engages students to discussions and debate and even disagreement at some point. So it's good from an education point of view. And we're going definitely to use it in the future in some of our master courses, some of my master seminars, or even seminars for the undergraduate students. It was a great experience on this respect. Okay.
Thank you, Yanis. Arnie, do you have?
Yes, I would like to agree with Yanis. It's been a great experience participating in this project. sort of I'm involved in some research projects, but this is different. This is more practical. This is a direct contact with sort of dissemination of results and using the research in more sort of practical or educational manner. So, and the whole experience has been very, I should maybe say, unexpectedly wonderful in many ways. So, yes, so very happy about this all. With the exception of COVID interfering very much too much. But even if the COVID interfered, we have had several moments of interaction. Like today, we had Sevilla in 2019 December. We had Reykjavik meeting in August last year, and then we had this wonderful week in Valencia, and now this good meeting also. So very fine. Period. Thank you.
Thank you, Arni. Francesco, your turn.
Yeah, I think that as my experience with fuzzy cognitive mapping, I can see the usefulness of using this tool for the research and the teaching, or rather than research that I do with students, especially when it comes to landscape change and transhumance. In particular, there are two aspects of fuzzy cognitive mapping that can be useful for the students that I work with and for myself. One is for some students with a more like a qualitative background. Fuzzy cognitive mapping helps them, I think, sort of standardizing or formalizing their ideas, because they have to come up with specific ideas and specific relationship with between these concepts. Whereas for when it comes to students that have more like a quantitative background, because I work between disciplines, I think that fuzzy cognitive mapping can work as a toy model. So when you create a model, you have to set the relationship and the values of the different variables that you identify, especially when it comes to simulation and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't have this information up front. So what you do, you create a toy model, so a very generic and very vague model to see if the actual idea of the model works. And fuzzy cognitive mapping can be a very useful tool for that as well, especially when the model is not built by one person, but by many people. And going back to what I was saying before, it can be a very interesting way to incorporate the visions and the perspectives of students that are not used to create models into this kind of environment. Last but not least, I will let you know how it goes with shepherds this summer. Let's see if they can create a fuzzy cognitive map themselves, and if they are better than students in doing it.
Thank you, Francesco. If you have any question, this is the moment to ask or to say some comments. No comments? Okay. So I'm going to say some words as the university leader of the projects. First of all, I would like to thank all the partners, because it was a pleasure, a real pleasure to share with you these years, to learn with you, because it was, I say at the beginning, for us was a new, very useful tool, not only for education, but also for research. I have to say that at this moment in the transfer projects, they ask two different aspects, multidisciplinarity and interdisciplinarity. And I think that in the methodology, we can include FCM, fuzzy cognitive maps, as a tool to work in the project, because in the project we usually work different researchers, and it's a way to work for the methodology of projects of different things, biotechnology, environmental science, social science. So I think that the future of the tool is really interesting. We are in an Erasmus Plus project, so I have to speak about education, and I want to say that some of our PhD students are going to use, I'm sure that they will use in the future, but I think that it's a very useful methodology for undergraduate if we gave the variables in order to begin to understand complex problems, problems that have a lot of options to decide, and it could be really, really a very good tool for all of them. I don't have too much to say about that, but I would like again to thank all of you. I would like to thank Josefina Lopez Galdeano because he is the heart of this project, and also all the teams of all the universities, and of course my UPO team, because without them it was impossible to arrive here. So thanks all of you to stay today here with us. And we have to finish our project, and we finished the final conference, and we will finish the project when we gave everything to Josefina and Maria. Thank you very much to all of you.